Untimely leave Tagore poems continue. Wow, so beautiful, right? No more noisy, loud words from me, such as my master's will. Henceforth I deal in whispers. The speech of my heart will be carried on in murmurings of a song. Must hasten to the king's market, all the buyers and sellers are there. But I have my untimely leave in the middle of the day in the thick of the work. Late then the flowers come out in my garden, though it is not yet time. Only the midday bees strike up their lazy hum. Full many an hour have I spent in the strife of the good and the evil, but not in the pleasure of my playmate of the empty days to draw my heart unto him, and I know not why it is in this sudden call to what useless in consequence. 12 o'clock. Mother, I do want to leave off my lessons now. I have been at my book all the morning. You say it is only 12 o'clock. Suppose it isn't any later. Can't you ever think it is afternoon when it's only 12 o'clock? I can easily imagine now that the sun has reached the edge of the rice field and that the old fisher woman is gathering herbs for her supper by the side of the pond. I can just shut my eyes and think that the shadows are growing darker under the meadow trees and the water in the pond looks shiny black. If 12 o'clock can come in the night, why can't night come when it is 12 o'clock? Threshold. I was not aware of the moment when I first crossed the threshold of this life. What was the power that made me open out into this vast mystery like a bird in the forest at midnight? When in the morning I looked upon the light, I felt in a moment that I was no stranger in this world, that the inscrutable, without name and form, had taken me in its arms in the form of my own mother. Even so, in death, the same unknown will appear as ever known to me, and because I love this life, I know I shall love death as well. The child cries out, when from the right breast, the mother takes it away in the very next moment. It finds in the left arm one its consolation. The wicked postman. Why do you sit there on the floor so quiet and silent? Tell me, mother dear. The rain is coming in through the open window, making you all wet, and you don't mind it. Do you hear the gong striking 4? It is time for my mother to come home from school. What has happened to you that you look so strange? Haven't you got a letter from father today? I saw the postman bringing letters in his bag for almost everybody in the town. Only father's letter he keeps to read himself. I'm sure the postman is a wicked man. You don't be unhappy about that, dear mother. Tomorrow in the market day in the next village, you ask your maid to buy some pens and papers. I myself will write all father's letters, and you will not find a single mistake. I shall write from A up to K. But mother, why do you smile? You don't believe that I can write as nicely as father does? But I shall rule my paper carefully and write all the letters beautifully big. When I finish my writing, do you think I shall be so foolish as father and drop it in the horrid postman's bag? I shall bring it to you myself without waiting, and letter by letter help you read my writing. I know the postman does not like to give you the really nice letters, the unheeded pageant. Ah, who was it that colored that frock, my child, and covered your sweet limbs with that little red tunic? You have come out in the morning in the play in the courtyard, tottering and tumbling as you ran. But who was it that colored that little frock, my child? What is it makes you laugh, my little lifebud? Mother smiles at you standing on the threshold. She claps her hands and her bracelets jingle, and you dance with your bumbles taken in your hand like a tiny little shepherd. But what is it makes you laugh, my little lifebud? Oh, Baker, why do you bed for clinging to your mother's neck with both your hands? Oh, greedy heart, shall I pluck the world like a fruit from the sky to place it on your little rosy palm? Oh, beggar, what are you begging for? The wind carries away in glee the tinkling of your bass antlered bells. The sun smiles and watches you toiling. The sky watches over you. When you sleep in your mother's arms in the morning, comes tiptoe to your bed and kisses your eyes. The wind carried away in glee the tinkling of your tinkling bells. The fairy mistress of dreams is coming towards you, flying through the twilight sky. The world mother keeps her seat for you in your mother's heart. He who plays his music to the stars is standing at your window with his flute. And the fairy mistress of dreams is coming towards you, flying through the twilight sky. The sailor. The boat of the boatman Madhu is moored on the wharf of Rajgunj. It is uselessly laden with jewel and has been lying there idle for ever so long. It would be only lend me his boat I should man her with 100 oars and hoist sails 5 or 6 or 7. I should never steer her to stupid markets. I would sail the 7 seas and the 13 rivers of fairyland. But mother, you won't be for me in a corner. I'm not going into the forest like Ramchandra to come back only after 14 years. I shall become the prince of the story and fill my boat with whatever I like. I shall take my friend Ashu with me. We shall sail merrily across the ever seas and the 13 rivers of fairyland. We shall set sail in the early morning light. When at noontide you are bathing at the pond, we shall be in the land of a strange king. We shall pass the fort of Tripuri and leave behind us the desert of Tampantar. When we come back, it will be getting dark, and I shall tell you of all that we have seen. I shall cross the 7 seas and the 13 rivers of fairyland. The recall. The night was dark when she went away and slept. The night was dark now, and I called for her. Come back, my darling. The world is asleep and no one would know if you came for a moment while stars are gazing at stars. She went away when the trees were in loud and the spring was young. Now the flowers are in high bloom, and I call, come back, my darling. The children gather and scatter flowers in reckless sport. And if you come and take off one little blossom, no one will miss it. Those that used to play are playing still, so spendthrift is life. I listen to their chatter and call, come back, my darling, my mother's heart is full to the brim with love, and if you come to snatch only one little kiss from her, no one will grudge it the rainy day. Oh child, do not go. Sullen clouds are gathering fast over the black fringe of the forest. Oh child, do not go out. The palm trees in the row by the lake are smithing their heads against the dismal sky. The crows with their dragged wings are silent in the temperate branches, and the eastern bank of the river is dotted by the deepening gloom. Our cow is lowing loud, ticed at the fence. Oh child, wait here till I bring her to the stall. Men have crowded into the flooded field to catch the fishes as they escape from the overflowing ponds. The rain water is running in rills through the narrow lanes like a laughing boy who has run away from his mother to tease her. Listen, someone is shouting for a boatman at the ford. Oh child, the daylight is dim and the crossing at the ferry is closed. The sky seems to ride fast upon the madly rushing rain. The water in the river is loud and impatient. Women have hastened home early from the Ganges with their filled pitchers. The evening lamps must be made ready. Oh child, do not go out. The road to the market is desolate. The lane to the river is slippery. The wind is roaring and struggling among the bamboo branches like a white beast tangled in a net. The lotus. On that day when the lotus bloomed at last, my mind was straying and I knew it not. The basket was empty and the flower remained untainted. Only now and again a sadness fell upon me, and I started up from my dream and felt a sweet rest of a strange fragrance in the south wind. That vague sweetness made my heart ache with longing, and it seemed to me that it was the eager breath of the summer seeking for its completion. I knew not then that it was so near, that it was mine, and that this perfect sweetness had blossomed in the depth of my own sweet heart. The little big man. I am small because I am a little child. I shall be big when I am as old as my father is. My teacher will come and say, it is late, bring your slate and your books. I shall tell him, do you not know I am as big as the father, and I must not have lessons anymore. My master will wonder and say, he can leave his books if he likes, for he is grown up. I shall dress myself and walk to the fair where the crowd is thick. My uncle will come rushing upon me and say, you will get lost, my boy, let me carry you. I shall answer, can't you see, uncle? I am as big as the father. I must go to the fair alone. Yes, he can go wherever he likes, for he is grown up. Mother will come from a bath when I am giving money to the nurse, for I shall know how to open the box with my key. Mother will say, what are you about, naughty child? I should tell her, mother, don't you know I am as big as the father? I must give a silver to my purse. He can give money to whom he likes, for he is grown up, mother says. If the holiday time in October, father will come home and thinking that I'm still a baby will come bring for me from the town little shoes and little silken frocks. I shall say, father, give them to my dada, for I'm as big as you are. Father will think and say, he can buy his own clothes for as he likes, for he's grown up. The last bargain. Come and hire me, I cried. While in the morning I was walking on the stone-paved road, sword in hand, the king came in his chariot. He held my hand and said, I will hire you with my power. But his power counted for naught, and he went away in his chariot. In the heat of the midday, the houses stood with shut doors. I wandered along the crooked lane. An old man came out with his bag of gold. He pointed and said, I will hire you with my money. He weighed his coins one by one, and I turned away. But I turned away. It was evening. The garden hedge was all aflower. The fair maid came out and said, I will hire you with a smile. Her smile melted into tears, and she went home alone into the dark. The sun glistened on the sand, and the sea waves broke waywardly. A child sat playing with shells. He raised his head and seemed to know me, and said, I hire you with nothing. For thenceforth the bargain stuck. In child's play made me a free man. The land of exile. Mother, the light has grown grey in the sky. I don't know what time it is. There is no fun in my place, so I have come to you. It is Saturday or our holiday. Leave off your work, mother. Sit here by the window and tell me, dear, where the desert of the Tarantula and the fairy tale is. The shadow of the rains has covered the day from end to end. The fierce lightning is scratching the sky with its nails. When the clouds ramble and its thunder, I love to be afraid in my heart and cling to you. When the heavy rain patters over us on the bamboo leaves and our windows shake and rattle at the gust of the wind, I like to sit alone in the room, mother, with you and hear you talk about the desert of Temperature in the fairy tale. Where is it, mother? On the shore of what sea? At the foot of what hills? The kingdom of what king? There are no hedges there to mark the fields, no footpath across by which the villagers reach their village in the evening, or the woman who gathers dry sticks in the forest can bring back her load to the market, with patches of yellow grass in the sand, and only one tree where the bed of the wise old was sat there. Nest lies the desert of Trepidar. I can imagine how on just such a cloudy day the young son of the king is riding alone in the grey horse through the desert in search of the princess who lies imprisoned in the giant palace across that unknown water. When the gaze of the rain comes down in the distant sky and the stars lightning starts up like a sudden fit of pain, does he remember his unhappy mother abandoned by the king, sweeping the cow stall and wiping her eyes while he rides through the desert of the Depinter in the fairy tale? See, mother, it is almost dark before the day is over, and there are no travelers yonder of the village road. The shepherd boy has gone home early from the pasture, and the men had left their fields to sit on mats under the eaves of their huts, watching the squalling clouds. Mother, I have left all my books on the shelf. Do not ask me to do my lessons now. When I grow up and am a bit like my father, I shall learn all that must be learned. But just for today, tell me, mother, where the desert of Tepinter in the fairy tale is. The judge. Say to him what you please, but I know my child's failing. I do not love him because he is good, but because he is my little child. How should you know how dear he can be when you try to weigh his merits against his faults? When I must punish him, he becomes all the more a part of my being. When I cause his tears to come to my heart weeps with him. I alone have the right to blame and punish, for he only may chastise who loves. Beautiful, the journey. Anghiari is medieval, a steep sloping down. A steep hill suddenly sweeping out to the edge of a cliff and dwindling, but far up the mountain behind the town we two were swept out by the wind, alone with the Tuscan grass. Wind had been blowing across the hills for days, and everything now was spring gold. With dust everything we saw, even some small children scampering along the road, twittering Italian in a small caged bird. We sat beside them to rest in some brushwood, and I leaned down to rinse the dust from my face. I found the spider web there, whose hinges reeled heavily and crazily with the dust, whole moons and symmetries of its swagging and scattering shadows among shells and winds. And then she stepped into the center of the air, slender and fastidious, the golden air of daylight along her shoulders. She poised there, while ruins crumbled on every side of her, free of the dust, the storm moment. Before she had stepped inside the hut to bath herself, I guess close to her, till at last she stepped away in her own good time. Many Men have searched all over Tuscany and never found what I found there, and the heart of light itself sheltered, leafed, balancing on filaments, themselves falling. The secret of this journey is to let the wind blow its dust all over your body, to let go on blowing, to step lightly, lightly all the way through the ruins and not to lose any sleep over the dead, who surely will bury their own. Don't worry. The journey. The morning sea of silence broke into ripples of songs, of bird songs, and the flowers were all merry by the roadside, and the wealth of the gold was scattered through the rift of the clouds, while we busily went on our way and paid no heed. We sang no glad songs, nor played, we went not to the village for the barter. We spoke not a word, nor smiled. We lingered not on the way. We quickened our pace more and more as the time sped by. The sun rose in the mid-sky and dew cooled in the shed. With the leaves danced in the world in the hot air of noon, the shepherd boy drowsed and dreamed of the shadow of the banyan tree, and I laid myself down by the water and stretched my tired limbs on the grass. My champions laughed at me in scorn. They held their heads high and hurried on. They never looked back nor rested. They vanished in the distant blue haze. They crossed many meadows and hills and passed through the strange faraway countries. All honor to you, heroic host of the interminable pack. Mockery and reproach pricked me to rise, but found no repose in me. I gave myself up for lost in the depth of a glad humiliation. In the shadow of the dim delight, the repose of the sun embroidered green gloom and slowly spread over my heart. I forgot for what I had traveled and surrendered my mind without struggling to the mist of the shadows and song. At last, when I woke up from the slumber and opened my eyes, I saw thee standing by me, flooding my sleep with thy smile. How I had feared that the path was long and wearisome, the struggle to reach thee was hard. Vaheguru, I love it all. Oh my God, please keep up